So I'm here today with our second guest, John Haack. I'm not going to try to make this too long. I don't want to make these podcasts where people don't want to listen for hours on end. So we'll make it pretty quick here. But I have a bunch of questions from YouTube. I'm going to see if the recording here is better than last time with Candido because I've got a different setup. And then I've got, like I was telling John before we got on here, I've got a better camera coming tomorrow, 1080 HD. So that'll be here for the Larry Wheels interview next. But I'm just going to ask you some questions. I'm going to see how you're doing, and we'll get rolling. So the most important questions, obviously, first here. This one was a really important one that I thought we'd start with. Pretty detailed. But what's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Damn, that's tough. I'd say probably red. I kind of bounce around a little bit, but red's probably the most consistent one.
Okay. See, I think blue for me. And then I have to go with green, but that's pretty funny. I had no idea.
Yeah. Green's like number 2 for me.
Blue?
Green is number 2 for me.
Oh, green. Okay, so we got John's favorite colors, red and green. There you go.
Yeah, I'd say blue's kind of low on my totem. Well, no, orange is my least favorite.
See, orange is. I know. See, I'm by Knoxville with University of Tennessee, and their colors are orange, and I don't like it too much. But
yeah,
I can't tell anyone that here. No, I got some funny questions, so I just thought. I got a question of my own too. Now, I'm going to show you something real quick. So I found these today, and I absolutely destroyed them. And they're not that good, but we got Twizzlers Tropical Blast. Look at that.
Are they like filled?
Yeah, they're the new filled one. They got like.
I've never tried those yet.
Bro, I saw them at the store today. I was like, I got to try this. So we got pink guava and paradise punch. Now, I'm going to look them cold. They're not great. They're not.
That's
but you should try them out.
All right.
It's because have you tried the lemonade strawberry one or the cherry?
Yeah, the yellow ones.
Yeah, the yellow and red.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good.
Those are good. I like those. Those are way better than this one. But if you see this one, definitely give it a try. But what's like your favorite snack food?
Like, are we talking like candy?
No, not candy. It can be anything. So
okay.
like for me, that's
I'm a big candy. Okay. I like those little, they're like nerd balls. So like, the nerd ropes?
Yeah.
They like made those into like balls now, so you can just like snap.
Clusters?
Yeah, the clusters. I like those.
Of course I would know what that is too.
Yeah.
Do you like the blue clusters or the red clusters?
I like the blue clusters better.
Okay,
so as far as flavors go, blue is the best flavor of anything.
Okay.
Like a blue package, I'll be like, yep, that's gonna be bomb. Like blue raspberry.
Dude, I like the red ones. I don't know why. It's just, but it's a good choice either way. So, okay, this is another very important question. So, somebody asked, do you like powerlifting more or RuneScape?
Oh, powerlifting for sure. I actually haven't played RuneScape in like 3 months now. I maxed right after Hybrid in January, and I played like a couple weeks after that, but then I kind of wanted to take a break from it to focus on, I don't know if you know, like Andy and I, we started our training app. And so like, I was like, all right, I'm going to like just put this on hold, like put RuneScape on hold and just like kind of focus on that. And now I'm like, man, I've been so productive recently since I quit RuneScape that I'm afraid to get back into it.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, if things are like going well.
Yeah,
it's a distraction, I think. So
exactly.
Okay, last funny question here. What's your so I'm gonna give a little background, obviously, for the viewers. I think most of you know this, but John's from Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. So we have that. We like worked at the same place, the college club, where we would troll Jordan, our boss, all the time.
Oh yeah.
And we lifted at the Surf, the University of Wisconsin weight room. That's how we first met each other and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I got a question. What's your favorite thing about Wisconsin? You miss maybe.
I think like just the city of Madison is like one of the like most beautiful cities in the country that I've noticed. Like the landscape, the fact it's like an isthmus, you have the Lake Mendota on either side. Terrace is always beautiful during the summer. Winter can get kind of shitty, but I actually prefer the cold. I hate hot, so I'd rather be cold. So like I kind of like the weather when it's cold, but I don't know. if I can like narrow it down to one thing, I guess like the people too, just the vibe of everyone there is a lot better, I think. Everyone's like kind of genuinely nice, whereas like I live in California now, and it seems like people are nice, but it feels almost like I'm gonna be nice to you so that like I can like get something from you in the future, something kind of like that. Whereas like I feel like in Wisconsin, like the Midwest, it's just like, oh, we're just being nice to like be nice.
Well, do you ever think you'd like move back to Wisconsin at all?
I would like to if my work provides it. Like I was actually potentially going to next year, but the position at my current job got filled in Wisconsin. So, but they still offered me if I want to do like, I think Northern Illinois or like Indiana or something like that. So if those are available, I'd maybe take them.
So somewhat close.
Yeah.
And then, how does it feel to be the strongest lifter from Wisconsin?
I don't know. I think there's like some guys that are.
No, there's not, dude.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Ty's up there too, but I don't know. It's a cool feeling. Like I don't know. Sometimes I get like the imposter syndrome where I'm just like, how did I end up in this like situation where I'm like as good at something that I do that I enjoy doing as well.
John, here's a funny thing. Like, John was a few years younger than me when he was coming up, and like, I thought like I had that crown. I'm like, I'm the strongest guy in Wisconsin, and he just comes along and smokes me. So it was fun for a little while, but now he's definitely got that crown because we're both from there. And I remember Andy Askow and a couple other guys too. But
yeah,
that's funny though.
Yeah,
And you know what's funny though too, John? One thing.
Yeah,
I kid you not. You're the most popular lifter. You are.
I think Russ is more popular than me.
Dude, okay, according to my YouTube results, I polled my community on YouTube. It was 80% John Haack and like 10% Russ and 10% Ashton. I was like, holy crap, like people love you.
I'm the most popular untested lifter, and I feel like you skew towards the untested side probably more than.
That is true, but you definitely are like, I think you're more I don't know. I think you're more popular. So you're definitely the pound for pound strongest right now too, I think. So I'm gonna get into some of the questions here.
Yep.
You can still see me, right?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure because I'm pulling up. These are like the most upvoted questions from YouTube. So I'm gonna get into some of these. And I don't know if this conflicts with any of your business or anything, but this guy wants a specific breakdown of your programming from your early days till now. He just basically is asking, like, do you respond better to intensity, frequency, or volume? Which some of those are, I mean, there's kind of an overlap as far as frequency and volume, but
I would say probably frequency is like the most important for me. Frequency and intensity. So like back when I was living in Wisconsin, I was having like a lot of issues with knee tendonitis on my squat, and that's why I started working with Joey Flex. And I was always kind of like I'd do like one heavy squat day a week, and it just kept like I got into like a cycle of like my knees would hurt. I'd like take a week or so, let them heal, do a heavy squat workout, and then they'd ache again for another week, and then kind of got repeat that. And he put me on like 3 days a week, and like when I first saw that, I was like, oh, no fucking way, like that's not gonna work. But it was like a lot lower intensity and a little bit higher volume too, but like just the higher frequency and lowering the intensity just kind of helped me get better at my form was, I would say. And then that kind of cascaded into being able to like up the intensity after that. You know, like just let everything kind of heal and be more efficient of a squatter.
So it's almost like I've noticed the same thing. Sometimes if I go a long period of time without doing one of the main lifts, it feels worse than if I do a really high frequency and almost get that blood flow effect on a daily basis. Yeah. So like something interesting. So basically, do you still squat like 3 days a week now?
So I'm actually just about to start. So basically, I'm 14 weeks out, and in the off seasons, I do like 2 like moderate intensity days of squatting. And then now that I'm switching to like a peaking phase to go into my meet, I'm going to do like I do like a 1 day where it's you work up to like a heavy single, some like super light drop downs, and then like a rep day, and then I have an SBD day where it's all like 40% or so, just kind of get that blood flow, like you were saying.
Okay. And then I thought it was interesting that Candido said in his last, when I was talking to him, he said that at certain periods of time when his bench was at its strongest, he was benching 6 days a week, which is kind of what Sean Noriega does as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's the highest you go with frequency on bench? Because for myself, I've played around with it too, where I'm doing like everyday benching at some periods of time, and I see pretty good results off that.
So for me, I like 3 days a week. I've tried 4, and I wasn't really a big fan of it. I feel like once you get to 4, you kind of have to start doing like an accessory. It's like you can't do like just straight competition bench 4 days a week. You have to kind of throw in like a close grip as one of them, or something like that. And personally, I just really like doing the competition bench, so I'd rather just keep it at the 3 and just keep a little bit higher intensity there.
Makes sense. I think too, because you are so strong, your intensity ranges are very high. You're racking up more fatigue than someone like me. My bench is way lower, so I can get away with a high frequency. That's pretty interesting though. Like, do you do any overhead pressing to supplement your bench as an assistance movement?
Yeah, I do it after bench on one of my days, and then I'll probably start adding in or I'll probably switch it out for log clean and press. I don't know, it's just a fun accessory I like. I think the biggest thing that like a lot of like mid to like lower tier lifters, or even like higher tier lifters, can like they start doing what like is almost like best, like is gonna like progress them better than like a different movement. But like if you're only getting like an extra like 10% benefit out of that, but like you're enjoying lifting less, then you're probably gonna burn out quicker, and then that's when I feel like I'd notice like a lot of guys like fall off. They get too focused on like progressing and not just enjoying lifting. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense, because I mean, at the end of the day, whether or not we enjoy it is going to dictate much of our progression. Like if you're miserable and like, run down all the time, you're not going to progress, whether you enjoy it or not. That makes a huge difference. Then deadlift obviously is the most taxing lift as far as the intensity and fatigue you accumulate.
For sure.
How often do you train that?
So I do like the squat. I do like one heavy day, but I don't do a rep day. And then I'll just do that speed day, or like a recovery day, SBD day, or whatever. So it's just kind of like, I would say like 1.5 days a week, basically.
So one heavier day and then one like super light recovery type day?
Yeah, just get kind of blood flow that day.
Okay. And then as far as like outside of the main lifts, what would be your favorite assistance lift? Like period. Let's say upper body favorite assistance lift and lower body a favorite assistance lift.
I would say probably either like a Larson close grip kind of variation, or the log clean and press for upper body, and then lower body pause squats.
Oh wow, high bar or low bar?
I'm always high bar. It's mid bar.
See, that was a spaced out moment on my part, because I do know that about you, but I just spaced out, and that actually segues to another question. Like, I know low bar, do you just avoid it mainly because you think it'll like throw off your bench because your bench is so good? Because I know it can affect shoulders and arms and such. What's the reason?
I mean, I've tried it. It just didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't enjoy it. Felt unbalanced, and yeah, like my shoulders were starting to get a little broken down, and my bench was suffering because of it. And at this point, I'm just like, been doing it for 18 years now, so I don't know if changing my form drastically like that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten to such an elite level with high bar. It's like, geez, I can't even imagine. So there's no need to really switch over. All right, let me see what we got here. Good question here. So what was the weight that you lifted the first time you essentially maxed out the main lifts? Where was your starting point?
I'm trying to like think of what's actually. Let me pull up this. I have my high school numbers on my desktop. Actually, I found it the other day. This is like our test out from junior year. So I did a 225 bench. This was like going into junior year. A 290 squat. And we didn't deadlift. So I mean, okay, that was like a high school squat. That was like super high. And then we didn't deadlift, but I did like a 225 hang clean. Yeah.
See, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so like I think the first time I deadlifted was in freshman year of college, and I think I hit like 405 or something around there.
Was that at the Surf?
No, that was when I was going to the University of Minnesota.
Oh, see, what in the heck? You were going to the University of Minnesota first?
Yeah, and then I transferred my sophomore year.
Oh, wow. See, I did not know that. I bet very few people know that. Yeah, I knew you went to UW. You're a Badger fan, but all right, interesting. No, I got this question is pretty interesting. I know, like, obviously everybody knows, you're not natural anymore.
Correct.
Like, how do you feel about the deaths in like the bodybuilding industry? Has that like hit home at all for you, or do you? I know you're doing things in a much safer manner than like they would, but what do you think of all that as far as the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like get nervous about it. Like every time it happens, I'm kind of like get a little bit of anxiety, but at the same time, I feel like you said, I'm doing it a little like I'm not taking anywhere near what those guys are taking. I max out at like at the high end, I do like 300 tests and just a little Anadrol. That's about it.
When you're on cycle, like peaking?
Yeah. Like I come off completely. Like I actually just started 100 milligrams test, basically like a TRT dose.
Do you come off like do you come off test?
Yeah.
Do you do a PCT of HCG, HMG, anything like that? Clomid?
I've done Clomid. I didn't notice too much of a difference of it. So I thought about doing.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I haven't done HCG, but I've thought about trying that one out. But I do I usually do like 12. Sorry, I usually do like 12 weeks on, 12 weeks off kind of cycles.
So literally you go time on, time off.
Yeah, for the most part. Like this, I got off right after hybrid. And I think it was like 14-ish weeks off completely. I'll tell you what, the last like 3 really sucked.
Well, how much does that affect your strength?
I'd say so. Like at like 20 to like 25 days out after like my last injection is when I kind of have like a decent drop off, and where I'll just feel like kind of like for like a week I'll feel like shit. I'll be like a little. There's like a 3-day period where I'll be like, I feel like a little depressed. Actually, I didn't get that too bad this time. But then it kind of like levels out again. And then I just had like a really rough week of work, or like a couple weeks of work where like stress was super high and it just like tanked my strength the last few weeks.
Does your body weight drop off significantly if you're walking around normally like 215?
Yeah. I was like down to like, I was kind of holding around like 208 for a little bit. And then like that stressful week of work happened on like went down to like 201. I think there was like a couple days where I might have been under like 200, and I was like, oh shit.
That's so interesting. Do you like how much? Okay, so your bench at its peak is like 589 in competition or whatever, 600 touch and go. How much would that drop off during that period when you're completely off?
Quite a bit for bench, like especially I would say as of like 5 weeks ago, it's probably around like a 530-ish bench or so. Right now, it's probably even worse. It's probably like
it's not that bad.
It's still, I mean, like 70 pounds. It's like
okay. I mean, I good lord, I guess, but
at the same time, it's like I know that it's like going to come back, so I don't freak out about it.
And then what about like squat and deadlift?
Deadlift is usually pretty decent. Squats hit or miss. Like it's actually been holding pretty good this prep. Like I just hit 705 yesterday. And
so pretty close.
Yeah. And deadlift was kind of felt a little bit off, but I think that was also because I went snowboarding. I kind of tweaked something on my back during that. So
Dude,
that's
those
kinda
winter
cool.
sports will get you. Like
They
you
do.
can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
No,
It was fun, but I don't know. I'm nervous about going again.
like dislocates his knee or something, be real bad.
Well, maybe I'll wait like I don't know 5 years I have left of like being like a top level guy.
Well, I mean, have you not learned anything from me? You got to do 700 trend pre-meet, and then you got to do some halo, and then maybe
Dude,
like a 1,000 tests or something, right?
dude, I remember like I think it was Raw Unity when we did a meet together. Like we were like on the way, and I asked you like, hey man, like what? I was curious. I was like, what are you taking right now? I was like, I don't know, man. I just took what was left in my fridge. Like that was like the craziest answer I've ever heard for like a cycle. You're just like, I just took like the rest of the bottle of Trent I had.
Yeah, see, we did Raw Unity 2014, I think we flew down from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I was literally just like, once I got to that end of the meet prep, I would just pin the whole like sash, like all the tread, all the test, whatever. And I remember like my acne was terrible. So it's definitely not a healthy way to go. Obviously, there's a lot more knowledge out there now and people are doing it better.
Mhm.
Now, your favorite compound, let's be real here, is probably Anadrol.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like Anavar better because like Anadrol just retain so much water that like my like strength to weight ratio is like almost worse on Anadrol. But yeah, I like Anavar.
Dude, Anavar is the freaking greatest steroid in the history of the world
it's
ever.
so
Like,
underrated.
I just think it's like a girl drug. I'm like, have you tried it?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Like I feel good. I feel like I'm lean as hell when I'm on it.
So this is official, guys. Anavar is John's favorite, and that's my favorite. It's so funny you say that because I'm like, that was, I always talked about Tren and all that, but like later in my years of taking supplementation, I started taking Anavar because my wife pretty much banned me from Tren because it made me a psycho. John probably knows about those days and such, but
I feel like I got like the tail end of you being like a psycho. You kind of like calm down. I feel like almost like training with me, I almost like brought you down a little bit because like I'm pretty low energy, and then we just kind of like met in the middle a little bit.
yeah, I mean the last few years we were at the college club, not for long because Dan brought me in, I brought you in, and then I was kind of gone after that. But Tren was interesting because I got back on it when I moved to Tennessee, and that's when like everything just started taking off again. But I think kind of like you said, like coming off, I think that helped because I was off Tren for like a year. I was just on 250 a week test, and then I got back on Tren and my numbers just blew up. So I didn't go completely off at that time period, but even like tapering way down to nothing, like everything exploded after that. But as far as the Anavar thing, like Anavar was something I discovered, about 3-4 years ago, and I would do 50 milligrams a day, so 25 morning, 25 evening, and my strength would just blow up on it, like unbelievable strength. I really felt no bad side effects. I couldn't see any bad side effects. I couldn't feel any. The only thing negatively impacted was basically the lipid panel on my blood work. So it would cut my HDL, my good cholesterol, by about 50%. And it wouldn't have a huge effect at all on the LDL. But that was really all I could see. It didn't even affect the liver enzymes. The liver enzymes are normally going to get crushed on any oral steroid, but Anavar really doesn't touch the liver enzymes to a drastic extent at all. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't notice many side effects. Like when I get back on cycle, I usually I'll break out for like a week or two. And it was like never anywhere like near what like you had, but like
Yeah,
I would just get like a little bit of like acne on my face a little bit. But and then like the one I have the worst is like gyno. I'll probably I'll get the surgery eventually. I think it's just I don't care that much about it.
Do you do okay? So I know you do 300 tests for like a meat prep, and then you do 50 Anadrol. But for Anavar, would it be the same 50 mgs?
So actually, I do like less of Anadrol. So I'll so like I said, I do like 12 weeks on. I'll do so first 4 weeks are 200 tests, and then I go up to 250 for the next 4, and then 300 for the last 4, and then I do Anavar at you just start around like of a 40 because I do like a liquid one.
Okay.
So I'll start like 40 for the first 3 weeks, and then I'll go up to 50 for the next 3, and then I'll switch to Anadrol. And Anadrol I just do on training days. I'll do 50, and like off days I'll just do 25.
Now, do you notice like an uptick when you switch from the Anavar to Anadrol?
Yeah, but like my weight also like jumps up, which almost like scare. Like I don't know, because when I'm on the Anavar, I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling like good. Plus, like I'm not gonna have a hard cut, and then I switch to Anadrol, and I just like retain. I just become like a balloon. And I'm
Have
like,
you ever
fuck,
thought
man.
about sticking with Anavar the whole prep?
Yeah, I thought about that. I think I got like a few meets that are kind of close together, so I might try doing like just Anavar and then switching to like Anadrol for like the first one do Anavar and then switch to Anadrol for the second one and see how it kind of goes from that perspective.
Well, I mean, I gotta ask the question everybody wants to know, like, are you gonna do trend?
No, honestly, like so people have asked me that, and I'm like, like I would say, like, man, like I had a training partner that did trend, and it scares the shit out of me from like just your perspective of it, and like or your experience with it, and like also I think it's kind of overrated. I feel like a lot of like the guys like in your like generation of the being on the top, like Eric Lillibridge, Chris Hickson, yourself, and the guys that like did the trend, like it seems like they burned out like a lot quicker. And I don't know if that's like related to the trend. Like I think it kind of dries you out a little bit more, so you like just experience a lot more like injuries and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Well, I think the big things like the mistakes we made back in the 2010 era, like when we started, as far as that's when I started. I think the big mistakes were obviously jumping on too soon. Like I was 20 years old. It was ridiculous. I was still progressing great. I never should have hopped on at that age. And then the other thing was just the exorbitant dosages. So obviously the dosages were so much higher than they are now. Well, I don't think for everybody. There probably still some people are like, hammering it. But I think that was a big mistake. And then I think if I would have done something similar to John, where I like cycled off or even like, did HCG for a little bit instead, I think I would have kept my receptors much more fresh and I would have progressed better. So I think that definitely held back some progress. But hindsight's 2020. It's all good. So
yeah, I'm definitely happy with the route I took for like drug usage, and I don't know. I have no interest in doing trend. I'm still progressing pretty well with the kind of cycle I'm doing now. So it's like what's the point?
And then have you ever thought about adding anything else, like trying out like Halo, Primobolan, anything else? Has there been any thought of that?
I've tried like I'll do like test suspension on meet days sometimes, but I don't know if I really like it that much. I had like one good experience with it, and then like another where it was just like didn't really do it. It didn't help. Like I felt better, but like it just overall didn't help at all. So from that, I don't know if I'll do it again. But and then the only other things I use are like peptides. It's like I'm a big fan of TB500. I'm gonna start taking that usually 4 or 5 weeks out, just kind of like heal everything up and feel just significantly better on that.
Do you see? I've tried like test base. So test suspension is where it's in water. Test base is where it's in oil. So I prefer the base version. I've done test base. I felt literally like nothing. And some people love it. And I'm also a non-responder to Anadrol. I tried Anadrol many times, and I would get like literally zero strength out of it. But Anavar, like I had freaky strength gains. Trend base though, trend base is basically like test suspension. It's like an instant hit. It's out of your system in like 4 hours. That one really was like a nice little androgen for like meet day. That's one you could look into at some point. Obviously, I know it sounds like harsh because it's trend, but the trend base is literally out of your system in a couple hours. So it gives you like a quick kick where you have some aggression, and then you're good. Like you take it before a deadlift or something, you get fired up, and it's out of you in 4 hours. I love trend base. I loved it. It was great stuff because it was like without all the sides of trend, but you get that quick pop. So that was my favorite like pre-workout. But
yeah, I get like a little pop almost if I do like just Anadrol before I do like take an A-bomb before a heavy day, and it works. I do the method where you like let it kind of sit underneath your tongue to like absorb a little bit quicker too.
Well, yeah, it's so boring though. But John, one time I did check drops before a deadlift. Like it was in a meet, and it was right before my deadlifts. Before my 2100 total, like before deadlifts, I did check drops.
What's a check drop?
I was like aggressive as heck, out of my mind.
Wait, what is that? What's a check drop? I've never heard of that.
Check drops are probably the most liver toxic thing out there. So check drops, you'll literally read about them on like steroid profiles, and they'll say, do not use more than like 2 days, or like don't use more than like once a year. Like, it's so harsh. Check drops are made originally for shutting down ovulation in dogs. So
Crazy.
that's the original use. But some crazy powerlifter at some point got a hold of these or whatever, and they're like, oh, these make you insanely aggressive because the androgenic rating on them is like absurd. So the androgenic rating on test is 100, on Tren it's 500. Tren is literally like 5 times stronger. And then on check drops, it's like 5,000 or something crazy. Don't mark my word on that, but
Jesus Christ.
You take this stuff once, like you want, like once a year before like a deadlift and a meet, and you get freaking pissed off. Like you get like tunnel vision, crazy aggression. It's a lot of fun, but it's very harsh. It's very hard on the liver. I would not recommend doing that, but it's just one of those things that's like, it was cool to try that one time.
Yeah, I remember one time you were telling me about how you're like, you got some, I think it was methyltren or something like that. You were so excited to try it. You're like describing it to me. You're like, it's like Tren, but on Tren. And I was like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, see, and a lot of that stuff was fake. That's the problem. It was like so much of that like good stuff was fake. So when I got legit check drops, I was like, wow. Because I tried check drops before and they were like fake. They did nothing. I felt nothing. But the legit stuff was like knocked my socks off. So that was cool. I got a question here though as well. Do you take any natural supplements?
Like creatine?
Yes, anything. Like anything like that.
Yeah, so like I have a sponsorship with Jack Factory, and I probably take more than like what I would recommend. So I like, because I get supplements for free, so I'm kind of like, well, might as well take them. So I take that pre-workout, and then so like my pre-workout shake is usually pre-workout, like a pump, which is like citrulline and beta-alanine, all that fun stuff. And then I'll do what is it? Collagen protein, or like a collagen peptide. I don't know if it does anything, but placebo for my joints kind of thing. And then beetroot powder for my pre-workout, and then like intra-workout I'll do like and then some like electrolytes with that. Intra-workout it's like EAs, creatine, and carbs. And that's about it.
Do you take like a vitamin D supplement or anything like pills like that?
Yeah, I do vitamin D, and then calcium degluconate for like helps stop aromatase, I believe, or like reduce estrogen. Like I'm trying that one. I've heard that like can help with estrogen. I'm just trying that out see if I can perfect a little bit of the gyno.
What dose is your D3?
5,000 I use with K2. I can't remember how much K2 is in it.
Okay, good. You got the K2 in there to help properly, because if you take vitamin D without the K, there's the chance that you can like build up calcification in your body as far as your arteries, as far as increase your chances of kidney stone, things like that. So it's pretty important to have in there as well. Anything else besides like vitamin D, vitamin K, and then you got calcium?
I'll take greens. I don't know if they do anything, but I don't know. I get it for free, so I'm just gonna throw them in like a morning shake. I don't like drinking water, like straight water. Like I need something like flavored in it. So like I'll throw the greens in to like add flavor to it to make me like drink water almost.
Wouldn't the greens wouldn't the greens make it worse? Like I feel like that would make it taste even worse.
No, the stuff I have is it's like green apple flavored or sour apple flavored, so it's actually not too bad.
Well, there you go. That sounds good. Is that pretty much it as far as the supplements?
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty minimal. Do you ever get like labs done, blood work?
No, that's something I have to do. That's the thing that I always tell myself. I'm like, I should do like my blood work, and then it's like I kind of play it off and I forget about it. And then
dude, you gotta let me like help you with that.
Yeah, I do. I've like thought about hiring it's like Mike Azertel's guy that does like it's like Team Evil Genius or something. like that. I can't remember his name.
Who is it?
His Instagram's like Team like Evil Genius or something around there. I don't know. He does like all the like Mike and like a lot of the like RP guys. They're like dosages and stuff like that. There's supplement cycles. But he knows like all that stuff, and I thought about like talking to him about like see if he could kind of like help me with that stuff.
As far as like your cycles or your natural supplementation?
So like cycles and like just other stuff to take for like health reasons and like analyzing blood work and whatnot.
I'm here for you, Chief.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's
right
the thing that like
I mean,
I know that's the thing. I gotta like donate plugs. I feel like I watched what's his name, the anabolic doc on YouTube. He was talking about how like buildup of like red blood cells can be bad. And I'm like, I definitely get that because I turn really red when I lift heavy.
John, so here's what we need to do. Like, this is not even expensive. You can order blood work without even go to the doctor. Literally, you could get a panel for under $100, and all you'll do is you'll order up the specific tests you want. Like, I can help you with as far as what you want tested. I can get you off on the most important stuff. And then basically you're going to print the form off. You're going to go into like the local LabCorp. So whatever LabCorp is in your area, you hand them the paper, they draw your blood, they're going to email you the results. It's that easy. And then from there, I could pretty much break down what needs improvement, what issues you might have. Because really, I want to make sure your lipids are in range, like your cholesterol, LDL, and HDL, all that kind of stuff, triglycerides. That'd be something that would be important to check. What you're talking about is hematocrit and hemoglobin, which are going to go up even if you're on a little bit of testosterone, but anadrol is really going to jack those up.
Yeah. So, I notice it especially when I'm on anadrol. I'm like, well, I can feel my blood pressure.
And I would say you're not really incurring a whole lot of damage because it's such a short period of time, but it's something we could look at as far as how high it gets. So I would get lab work done about 8 weeks after you come off, and then I would also get lab work done like about 3-4 weeks before your meet. So or I guess you take anadrol the last 4 weeks. So maybe you could even do it like 2 weeks out, and we could see what's going on there because you don't know. Do you know what your baseline like cholesterol levels are?
I don't.
Because it's just and the thing about cholesterol, obviously, like anadrol will affect it to an extent, but testosterone really won't affect your lipids all that much. Okay. It might keep it where your HDL is a little lower than it should be, but it's not going to affect it to the extent that other anabolic steroids would. So anadrol could have an effect on that, but you want to know, like, as far as your genes, if your baseline cholesterol level is high, as far as LDL is concerned, we want to bring that down. So even something I've done, like I have naturally bad genetics as far as heart health, cholesterol, all that. I take a statin twice a week or Suvastatin. So it's something worth looking into.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to like do. It's like, but I always just forget about it. I get like stressed from with work and stuff like that.
Oh man, we'll figure it out. And then do you ever like check your blood pressure or anything?
I've done it like a few times, not like regularly, but it's usually pretty good. It's like mid 120s, and actually like usually lower on the 70s.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, mine naturally, even like when I was 19, and now it's high. Like I'm prone to it. So I take telmisartan. It's an ARB, 80 milligrams a day to keep mine in range because even being on nothing, my blood pressure is high. So that's kind of interesting. But we can dive into that later if you want.
Okay.
Or anything like that. Just let me know. I can get you set up as far as what you want to look at. Let's look at some other questions here, though. How do you feel as far as how legitimate the drug testing is in like the USAPL?
I think USAPL is pretty legit. I think most people in the USAPL are natural, just because like I know what I was able to do when I was natural. So I feel like what these guys are able to do is pretty reasonable. And then on top of that, you watch someone like Ashton Roska or like Russell Orhe, like their physique stay pretty consistent year round. Their strength is like pretty much consistent, other than like some variations for peaking, but that's within the range of like what you'd expect. Compare that to like me, where like I come off and my like I'm only doing a little bit of stuff, and I come off and my bench drops like 70 pounds. Like you don't see that with most USAPL guys.
Well, do you feel, how often were you tested at all the meets basically?
I was actually never tested out of meet, which is really funny.
Out of meet?
Out of meet. I mean, I was tested, I think, every meet I went to for USAPL.
Like when you went to Worlds, were you tested?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? I just looked at the Raw Nationals from 2021, and like out of the big name lifters, the only guy tested I think was Russ. Like they have the results. So, and the other thing that like made me kind of pause was there were 3 lifters popped out of like 1,600 the whole year, which is a very low percentage. I know that most people are national, obviously, but it's kind of a low number. So I talked with Candido about blood work and measures we could implement into the USAPL to make it even more strict as far as like checking. There's certain things that are pretty hard to fake. So Candido presented to the USAPL as far as like implementing checking of LH, FSH, testosterone levels, and estradiol at competition. These would be interesting things to look at as far as it would further the credibility of it. But has there ever been anyone who you're like, you don't have to name names. I'm not going to, I'm not going to make you do that. But like, has there ever been anyone where you're like, oh, I question the credibility of this guy?
Trying to think if there's like anyone. I think I could think of for like USA lifters. I think there's like some like international people down a little bit like, I don't know. That's a little like, I don't know if I believe like a lot of like the Eastern Bloc guys. Like just because US, I feel like it's very like accepted that you have like the untested and the tested side, whereas like some of these other countries, it's not like they just have the tested division. So it's a little bit more likely that you're going to get people in their divisions that are on stuff. But no, I'm trying to think if there's anyone that's like on that's like a top level person. I'm sure there's like some like mid level people that you're like, you look at them, you're like, that guy's probably taking something.
Wasn't that guy like Kelly Branton or whatever got popped?
Yeah, he got popped for like some SARMs, and I think was it Winstrol? I think it might have just been SARMs.
It's some. I remember oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then he blamed it on his protein powder, and I cracked a joke about it on Instagram. I was like, oh, trying to get, I think it was like a Canadian protein or something like best protein. I was like, oh, trying to get me some of that Canadian protein, and the company messaged me like. So it was on a story. It was up for like 23 hours. They're like, hey, can you take, like, we thought this was really funny, but can you take this down? And I was like, yeah, that's only going to be up for like another hour, but sure.
Wow.
I was like, hey, I mean, if they like asked me like right away, I was been like, yeah, that's fine. Like,
that's funny. It's sometimes hard though, because I'm looking at like, I know what you achieve naturally. And even like, you can ask John, like, he knows, like, I had my doubts initially about your natural status. And then obviously you blew away those natural, what you hit naturally when you got on. So obviously you were 100% credible, but you were hitting numbers where I'm like, how is this possible? And now I see guys like, you were deadlifting 694, they're deadlifting, high eights and like the squats too and stuff. It's over 800 squats. I'm kind of like, man, this is crazy because that implies that like if they went on juice, it'd be insane what they're hitting. So,
yeah, but I also think like what I've learned as a lifter, if I took like what I know as a lifter now and like put it in like my body as like when I was 23 or whatever, when I was going in the USAPL, I think I could have done like way better numbers personally. So I think like just the amount of knowledge that people have gained like also kind of accounts for a lot of these crazy increases.
Yeah, makes sense. And there's more people at this in powerlifting, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I remember back in like 2014, I think the 242 class, the top 2 total was Cade Weber at 2000 had number 1. I was second at 1850, which is hilarious because it's not even close now. So that just shows how far it's come.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What was I trying to think about? So I know like you've accomplished so much. Like you've totaled 1,000 kilos. What is the ultimate goal? Like where do you want to go from here?
I don't know. I think like right now I'm just kind of like I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, fuck, man, like now that I've hit like the 1,000 kilo, which is like my like big goal. If I had like a catastrophic injury or like illness or something like that, where like I could never compete again, at this point now I'd be like now that I've hit the 1,000 kilos, I'm like I would be satisfied, or I'd be like content with my like lifting career. So like right now, there's nothing in particular. Like I don't have any specific goals, but it's just kind of continue to do well, win meets, and kind of build my resume as try and like be comparable to like Ed Cohen.
What's your next meet?
It's the American Pro. We're in Virginia. July 30th.
The USPA?
No, it's WRPF.
RW. Okay, so yeah, WRPF came out with a pro series, I believe you were saying, and
yeah.
Okay, July 30th, Virginia. Wow, not too far from here.
Yeah,
a lot of big names. I'm sure it'll be at that one. So
yeah, like so the payout isn't like as much as like the Kern or anything, but I saw. Did you what was the USAPL meet that they just had? That was like really big in Virginia, but I don't know.
Virginia Pro, I think they called it.
Yeah, the Virginia Pro, like the venue and everything was like sick, and I think it's the same people running it. So that was
awesome, dude.
Yeah, so that was actually like the thing that kind of brought me in. I'm like, oh, this looks like professionally done. Like the atmosphere just looks amazing, and like so I'm excited to lift at this one.
Do you ever have any plans to move up weight classes?
Yeah, well, like right now I'll probably do like a few meets like 220 and like a few meets like 198, just because the cut's like the only part of the lift that are like of competing, I guess, that really sucks. So like if I'm probably gonna do like 4 meets this year, so I'm not gonna want to cut 4 times, so I'll probably do like 2 at 198 and 2 at 220 or something like that.
You ever gonna like trend your way up to 242?
I think the heaviest I would probably want to get is like mid 220s. Like if I was gonna do like compete as a 242, I'd weigh in at like under 230. I don't think my body like I start feeling like uncomfortable above like 220.
Okay, so because here's an interesting thing. I'm like 225 right now. I'm 5'11 and a half. What's your height?
I'm like 5'9". I thought you were like 6 foot.
Every time I measure, I'm a half-inch short. I'm like,
damn.
Like it's been this way for years.
Hey, that's a Tinder 6'1".
That's right. Yeah, you can round up for sure and be yeah. That's funny. No, okay, so 5'9", 225 would be pretty big for 5'9". That's proportional.
Yeah, like
so many people want to see you, but
I know. In fairness, hey, I already beat the 242 record, so.
Dude, you beat every freaking record, like all the records. All right. What do you think is like the difference between you and everyone else? Why are you the best? Truthfully.
I think just consistency, to be honest. Like I think I've been lifting for 19 years now. Like I haven't taken more than probably like a week off. Like I definitely think there's guys that have had like probably like better baseline talent than me, but like I've been able to just like kind of keep grinding. Whereas like if they have like that like you have like shitty meets, you can have like shitty years, but as long as like you keep like trying to like progress, eventually you'll break through that. And I think I've been like very I'm pretty good at that, and like finding like just making small consistent gains, whereas like some of these guys they have like a bad meet or two, and then they put their hands and be like, oh fuck this sport, and then they drop out.
Makes sense too. Yeah. I wish I wasn't so beat up. Like I have a ton of back pain anymore and hip issues, and just my body isn't cooperating like it used to be. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of sucks. But I've been lifting 16 years, and I've got a lot of wear and tear now, probably from some poor choices as well and things like that. But it's live and learn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What is the craziest? Actually, before I ask this question, I got one more question. What do you think of the advancements in equipment, and like, what do you think about the Titan knee sleeves and the Kabuki deadlift bar? Are you in favor of that, or are you against it?
I like Kabuki. But I like their squat bar a lot, and I've used the deadlift bar, and it's like amazing, like it's crazy. But it's almost kind of one of those things where I like the monkey's out of the box now, but like I wish it didn't happen because now it's like my biggest thing is that I want to be remembered like historically in the sport, and now like as equipment progresses, like numbers are obviously going to get like inflated, and you can't. It's going to be like harder to compare. Like you can't compare like Tom Brady to like Bart Starr very well. And I feel like that's going to be kind of the case where like the sport evolves and it's going to be harder to compare like my numbers to someone like 20 years down the road. But at the same time, it's fun to lift heavier weights. So, like I wish it wasn't the case, but I mean, I'm going to take advantage of equipment, I guess.
Well, it's ironic because Lifting Vault put out a video like a day ago about Jamal Browner training on the Kabuki deadlift bar. I literally said the exact same thing as far as what you just said. I said, this is really going to skew the basis for comparison now because it's always going to be like, well, is it a Texas deadlift bar or a Kabuki deadlift bar or the Titan knee sleeves compared to regular SBD sleeves? And like, it's just going to make it more complicated as far as like the numbers are going to progress even further and dumb down previous numbers. So I'm not in favor of it, but there's nothing we can do. You just got to accept it and go with it. Do you have any plans to try out like the Titan sleeves?
I've like tried putting them, is it Titan or is it Inzer?
Inzer, my bad.
Yeah. I've like tried putting them on that they did not feel comfortable. Like, so for me, like the cut of it. So actually like, I don't know if I should say it. Like we've looked into like I've been friends with Andy and like we've looked into like using that material for the Iron Rebel sleeves. But if they do that, I would want them to like change how like it's like sewn together, I guess, because it felt like it was like way too much pressure on like my actual knee and not like above and below it. So like if that gets changed, maybe it'll feel better. But at the same time, I don't know. I wasn't super impressed by it, but obviously it worked for some people. So
they're just so heavy. Like you pick them up, you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like a heavy sleeve.
That's like another thing where it's like, oh fuck, like now you got like I guess whatever the percent of like neoprene or whatever's in it versus neoprene in it versus like after like pre and post the Inzer sleeve squat numbers.
Yeah, they're gonna blow up, that's for sure. That's another issue, but let me ask you, what is the craziest story you can recall from your bouncer doorman days at the college club?
Oh, I don't know if I have like any. I made bar stool a couple times for like getting in fights, but they got taken down. I have one saved, but like
Really?
some kid like came in, took his fake ID, and they kept arguing and like kind of like pushed him out the door. I didn't even like push him. I just like walked him out the door, and then he like just kept arguing. And then he like this kid is like 140 pounds, and they just like wound up and sucker punched me. And so they tried to run away, so I tackled him. And I don't know if like when you like tackle someone, you're like we were talking about this the other like one time when we were working. Like, what do you do? Like, do you go for the headlock? Do you go for like do you ground and pound them? And I gave this kid a wet willy.
What?
Yeah, that was like I don't know. That was like the one thing I was like I'm gonna like I got him into like a headlock, threw the legs in, like kind of had him like sprawled out, and he just kind of like trying to like tussle that through, give him wet willy just to like really demoralize him.
See, I was on a bunch of trend, so and I had like a bald head and like looked crazy, so I just would scare the daylights out of people, and then they never wanted to fight.
Well, see, I was always the smaller guy, so they'd always like come after me. I don't think I was on. I'm trying to think if I was ever on gear when I was at KK. Yeah, I guess the tail end.
What'd you say?
I guess like the tail end I was on, like I was taking a little bit of test when I was at the KK, but for the most part I was natural, so I was like only like 180 pounds versus you being like trend out at like 240, 250.
Yeah. The only time I got swung on in like 3 years, was a girl. So
Girls
How's
are
it?
crazy, man. I'm actually I'm still banned from Venmo because like college game day, these like three little fucking like 5 foot tall Jewish American princess girls were like trying to pay, and they're like, how much is it to cut? And I was like, oh, we're doing like 60 a person right now, but like I was like, clearly this girl's like 18. I'm like, okay, but like just so you know, like if you pay, this is to get like into the line. This is not to get like into the bar.
Man.
And like I was like, so you gotta be 21. And they kept arguing. They're like, they kept saying like, yeah, we're 21. I'm like, okay, one more time. Like if you are not 21 and you like get denied, I don't give a shit. Like you're not getting this money back. You know, like we're fucking 21. So I took their Venmo, like they Venmoed me, let them cut the line. 5 seconds later, they come around the back. They're like, we didn't fucking get in. And I was like, well, are you 21? Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me see your IDs. Like, all just terrible fakes. I'm like, well, no shit. And then they kept arguing. I think I like looked at the Venmo name, and I was like, well, these names don't match up with your IDs, which was really funny because I was just like, oh, it's my cousin's Venmo. And I'm like, okay, I would have believed like sister or like mother, but cousin? Like, get the fuck out of here. So then they reported me, and I got like so many strikes on my Venmo that I'm now banned from Venmo.
There you go, guys. John is banned from Venmo officially.
Yeah.
What you know what's crazy, man? So what's the most you guys made like individually in one night working as a bouncer? Because my best night, brother, was like it was an Ohio State, Wisconsin football game day.
Yeah.
And you know how the lines we get for those games.
Yeah.
So we made one time, we each walked out from like a day's work with 1,500 in cash. That was our best day.
We made $5,000 each.
What the flip?
Dude, I swear to God.
$5,000 when I leave.
I swear to God, like I had
What?
like I was there during the golden period.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's crazy. Okay, Michigan State home games or like Michigan State at Wisconsin.
For football?
Yeah, those were the best days.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Like I'll tell you what, I think what opened the floodgates to like us making so much more money was actually they cracked down on the capacity for like a while.
Wait,
So,
speak up a little more.
Yeah, so they cracked down on the capacity for like us being have to be like under capacity. So it made it almost like more exclusive, so we could charge more.
So the COVID rules made it to where you could just like
No, just like this was like before COVID. It was like the cops just finally started being like, oh, there's like your guys' capacity is 300 and there is at least like 600 people in here.
Yeah.
We can't do this. So then we had to like for like a few months, we actually had to do like 300 people. And if you've ever seen what 300 people, like it's crazy how like empty that place is when it's like actually at capacity.
Oh, look, we got a puppy in the background.
Yeah.
I love dogs, man.
Oh yeah.
So cute.
This is Frodo.
Frodo Swaggins, folks.
Yeah.
There you go. That is a cute dog, dude.
Yeah, he's a little goofball.
What kind of dog is that?
It's Australian Shepherd.
God, he's freaking amazing. I love dogs, man.
Yeah, he almost burned my house down one time.
How's that?
I had food, and I had a party, and like someone left some, I think donuts, and we had it on the stove, and I left to go like visit a friend in the hospital. I came back, and it kind of smelled like smoke when I got out of my car, which, if you know, California is like kind of like common. Like it's not like out of the blue. You're like kind of like something like there's a forest fire somewhere near here, and then I like looked at my house like, oh shit, it's my house, and like it's just my house got really smoked up. So
What did he do?
he jumped up and like somehow he hit like perfectly the like stove knob to like turn it to where it like lit on or like turned on.
So it literally lit the donuts on fire?
Yeah,
That is awesome.
I know.
All right.
So
No,
so
circling back. Wait,
so
what?
now whenever I leave, I turn off the gas on my stove.
Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah,
You have to take precautions here. That's
yeah, I do not trust him.
No, circling back here though. So when you made $5,000 in one night,
Yeah, it was crazy.
how
Like
many bouncers were working?
9, I think.
You guys had $40,000 in cash on the table.
We had a lot of Venmo because Venmo came after you.
What is this Venmo? We
But-
just
but
worked
yes.
with cash.
But yes, we had like, it was like, we were
What?
counting the money. It was like $30K at the end of the night. I remember I went to like go buy, I bought my truck the next day and I like, I literally just like threw down like $5,000 in cash. I was just like, here you go. Like, here's my down payment. And like, the guy that was selling me it was like, yeah, they're having a blast counting that in the bag. And I was like, hey man, we had like 4 times that on the table, or like 6 times that on the table a couple nights ago.
What year was that?
Maybe like 2016 or something like that. 2017.
Gosh,
Yeah,
I was there like 2010 to 2014.
dude, like we had like a streak where like even like Tuesdays we would make like $500, $700. It was wild. I missed that
Gosh.
job.
Did you work the door for how long did you work the door for?
I worked there like quite a while because I worked there after I graduated until I guess 2019, end of 2019, like right before I moved to California in 2020. And
Were you still working were you working the door though for like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know, like we were making more than like any other employee there other than like Jordan. Maybe I guess who was the manager there when you were there? Kevin. So Kevin left and then Joe became the manager. And I'm pretty sure Joe.
Really? Okay, Joe's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of sucked as a manager, but yeah, all right. Hope he doesn't see this.
Did Jordan get pissy with you guys a lot?
Yeah, he did, but like actually Joe was almost worse because it would be so annoying because like we would be like I think capacity like we could get up to like 400 people is kind of like our cutoff, I guess, of like how many people we could have. And we'd like they'd give us like kind of a buffer and we'd let it get kind of low on the buffer and then like Joe would come up and be like, oh, there's no one in there. So he'd like let in like 50 people off the line. And then like 2 minutes later, you come and freak out. Like, it's too busy in there. Like there's too many people. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like, but yeah, like sometimes Jordan would get pissed. I guess like that Michigan game, the reason we were making so much, like Jordan was like super pissed. He was kind of like, no one could come in. And like, we had just fucking people just like being like,
throwing money.
Yeah. They'd be like, hey, what do I need to pay to get in? And I like threw out like a couple times, like $200 per person. And they're like, no problem. Here you go.
Holy.
Yeah.
Lord.
I was like, are you shitting me? This is just a bar, man. Like, go somewhere else. It's not that cool.
See, Jordan did that all the time. Jordan would be like, "Yeah, guys, no more people, absolutely no more." And then we'd be in the line, and somebody'd be like, "Yeah, here's $150," and we're like, "Yeah, you're good."
Yeah, that's pretty much what
we're
we
not
did.
turning that money down.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Those were the days, man. Just raking in the cash. Did you ever have like NFL players or anything come through?
Yeah,
pro athletes.
Yeah, like we had a few Packers came down. Like
who were they?
Yeah, David Bakhtiari. He was pretty cool. He paid what we asked him. Trying to think who else. The Workaholics guys came in. They were super chill. They were funny. One of the bartenders slid in Blake's DMs and he's like, "All right, come over." So she hooked up with Blake.
What? Okay, Bakhtiari came there when I was working the door when he was a rookie. It was before the season started. He was there with Micah Hyde.
Okay.
He got super offended when I told him he had to pay to get in. He literally freaks out on me. He's like, "You guys are trying to exploit us for money because we're NFL players." Like, he got super offended. Micah Hyde was just like, "Bro, let's do it, whatever." So Micah Hyde paid for him and Bakhtiari and like 2 other people. Because Bakhtiari like threw a fit about me asking for money because he thought I was like extorting him because he was in the NFL. But he was like a rookie. And then he like wanted to like he was like mean mugging me from in the streets when I was standing at the door. It's crazy, dude.
You know, do you remember Bo Allen?
Yeah, he was always drunk.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit when he was drunk. But
he was drunk.
Like one time, he came with this little group, and I think it was when he was in the NFL. And he asked how much, and we told him because it was like a game day, so it was like inflated. So he's like, normally like $20 a person. We're like, well, like that's during like a Thursday, man. Like that's not what it is right now. And he got all pissed. He like huff and puff a little bit, and then like finally he's like, all right, fuck it, fine, and like, but he's like I'm gonna let them, like, they have to go in now, and I'll get you the money later. I'm like, we're like, no, like that's not how it works. So he's like, no, I want to use the ATM. Like, it was cold out, so he's like, I want to use the ATM inside. And we would always do this thing where we'd be like, okay, like, fine, but like, give us your phone as like collateral, so so we know you're like coming back. And he like wouldn't come back for a little bit. So me and the other bouncer on the line, we like took a bunch of selfies on his phone because like, you know how you can like open the camera. I, like, finally came back, paid us and everything like that, and I like forgot about it. And then like 3 months later, I saw him again, and I think he's like, I think I have a picture of you on my phone. Like, what the hell? Like, who are you? And I was like, I told him about it. And he thought it was hilarious because it was like, it was a time when he wasn't drunk, so he thought that was hilarious. But like, yeah, he sucks when he's drunk.
He would always be drunk and like hanging on me, being like trying to hug me. He's like, "Bro, I love you."
Yeah.
You know, he's like slurring his word. I'm just like, man, dude, I'm sick of you drunk people trying to like. The hockey team would do that too.
Oh, hockey team sucks.
They would hang all over me and try to like tell me they loved me when they were drunk. I'm just like, come on, man.
It's like, well, hey, if you love me, then just like pay the price to cut the line. Don't bitch at me every weekend.
Yeah, it was just kind of annoying, but it was cool.
I think like probably the most famous NFL player that went there when I was there was Russell Wilson.
Oh, you saw him too?
Yeah, he came in after it was like he had won the Super Bowl at that point.
Wow.
And then yeah, he was pretty nice. His manager kind of sucked because he was like trying to get some underage girls in. We're just like, no, that's not how this works.
Russ was trying to sneak in underage girls.
No. His manager, like, I think like he had like a big group, and I think these like two like underage girls like kind of like snuck into the group, and like he came in, he like walked in, he walked past us, and everyone like, and these like last two girls came in, and like we checked their IDs, and like, no, they're not 21. And his manager was like, no, they're cool, and we're like, that we're still a bar, like you still need to be 21. I don't give a shit who you are. So his manager sucked, but like Russell was super nice.
I saw him when like my first year working there. It was August before the season, like when he transferred there.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in by himself, and I'm look over. I'm like, "Hey, isn't it the new transfer quarterback, Russell Wilson?" And he walked around for like 20 minutes, didn't drink anything, and just left. And I didn't think anything of it. And then years later, I'm like, "Gosh, he got famous as hell."
Yeah.
But that was like his like when year he transferred, and like nobody knew about him. He just showed up. It's like, oh, it's Russell Wilson. Interesting.
Dude, I remember when like not Monty Ball. I remember seeing like Monty Ball's like down for like, because he's been pretty outspoken about his like alcoholism and stuff like that. And like we had like a first row seat to that. It was like depressing to watch. But
he was always drunk when he came in.
Yeah,
hammered.
Like hammered. It was crazy.
Hammered. Like his eyes were closed.
Yeah. Like I remember one time he like tried to like, this is like when he was like playing, I think he got hurt. So he basically like, came back to Madison during the season, and like he was like plastered like every night.
Yep.
Like thank God he's like better now, it seems, from like what I've seen. Because he's always nice, but like, it definitely had a problem.
He was doing that stuff when I was there. He'd come in like hammered, his eyes would be closed, and he would be trying to like sneak people in. And then James White was there a lot when I was there, and he was like super nice, like the nicest dude ever.
I met James White. He's super nice too. Melvin Gordon was pretty cool. I remember Melvin Gordon, like when he was like the big man on campus, he literally like, I don't think he drank when he was in college. He would like at least like I never saw him drink, because he would come in, he would literally like lean against a wall for like 20 minutes and then leave with like two girls. And I was like, God damn, man, good for you.
Yeah, I'm sure he was pretty big stuff, because I'm trying to think of when you were there, who the top football players on UW were. Like Braylon Allen is the man now.
Yeah, dude, he's crazy.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome. Look at his squat, dude. You impressed me?
Dude, yeah.
6'10", bare knee, high bar.
I think he posted it, and I messaged him, and I was just like, damn, man, that's crazy. And he never responded. I was like, damn it.
God, he's too big for us, brother. We're not gonna get his attention.
I know.
He's big time
do
now.
You know Dare Agumbawale?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like him and Corey Clement were the running backs. That like I like both of them. They're super nice. Like still talk to Dare sometimes on Instagram. I think he just signed with the Texans, and I saw it was like, hey man, like Like a 2 milli? Fuck it, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it must be nice, right? Pretty good life. Remember when Patrick Kane? Were you there when Patrick Kane came in and got like hammered and like got arrested?
No, I heard about that. I think I started like a little bit after that.
Yeah, he got like he blacked out at the bar when he was like a big star for the Chicago Blackhawks and got like arrested and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Good times by those guys. Did you ever get annoyed when like a morning game day and it was like all the parents in there and they were like drunk as heck, like singing the songs like the Michael Jackson and stuff?
No, but you know what's like the worst weekend to work?
What's that?
State wrestling weekend.
Why?
Oh, dude, like the wrestling parents are the worst because they're like they're all like I don't know, a lot of them are like really short guys, but like they also wrestle, so you're like, I don't want to fuck with this guy.
You got some
but then they got like a little bit of like that short man complex where like they kind of know they could fuck you up, and they're kind of dicks about it, and like they're like they're pretty like hammered because their kids are like wrestling at state, and I don't know, they just like they're the worst ones to deal with.
You know, I just used to always it'd be like the game day and it'd be all these parents drunk out of their minds like singing Michael Jackson and stuff. That's what I remember from the like game day mornings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That didn't bug me too much. It's when you get the entitled parents. Like we had so many that were like, we got called like sexist by this one because we're like the girls are inside there like bartending, like actually working. You guys are just out here like collecting money. And I was like, yeah. And when like a fight happens, who do you want to like break it up? Do you want the like little literally like 105-pound girl, or like me and this other guy who's 6'9"? Like,
I get it.
Like yes, we're making more right now, but they also like make more on like a Tuesday. So
that's true.
It out.
Did you know one other cool thing was like, you know, Frank Kaminsky?
Yeah,
he came in like when he was underage with the worst Illinois fake ID I've ever seen. And I pocketed it and he's like, really, man? And I'm just like, yeah, bro, sorry, I can't do anything. And he just was like, okay. And he walks out.
Yeah, I just like the guys like that are just like, all right, like.
Yeah, he comes back on his 21st birthday with a new ID. He comes up to me, he's like, bro, I'm 21 now. And he took a picture with me. He's like, this is the guy who took my ID. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, Frank was always hilarious. And like someone do you remember VeggieTales?
Yeah.
Someone described him as the cucumber from VeggieTales, and I was like, God damn! Now that's like all I can think of whenever I see Frank Kaminsky.
The basketball guys were pretty nice, though. It's great. Yeah. The rugby guys that was all the trouble.
Yeah, that's true. I lived with a bunch of the rugby guys.
I'd love to get drunk.
I came in with who was like Bryce, because that was like my first. Yeah, Bryce like. Yeah, and I came in. You were the bouncer, and like I think I knew of you. Like we didn't know each other. I handed you my fake ID, and it was Corey Katzman. And you just started laughing because that kid was banned.
Yeah, I would. If somebody had a fake ID, I would laugh at them how bad their fake was. I would let them know. I'm like, are you seriously trying with this? This is trash. And that's what I would tell them. But you see, Bryce was crazy because he one night, like it was the end of the night, like just, bar time and closed. I'm like opening the door to like lock it, or I'm like going out to lock the back door. And as soon as I walk out, Bryce clocks this dude and just knocks him out in the street. And I was like, holy crap, what happened? Bryce always had a bit of a temper.
I never saw that. Like I only knew Bryce. We became friends at the gym because he was 2 years older than me, I think, 2 or 3. Yeah. And literally like the only time I interacted with him was at the gym, and then during like graduation weekend, I literally asked him like, "Hey man, like, do you think you could buy me some beer?" And then he's like, "Yeah, sure." Like he like bought me the beer, and he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I was like, "Oh, nothing. Like just kind of maybe hang out, like drink a few beers, like maybe hang out with some friends, play some video games or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, you want to like we're celebrating us graduating. Like you want to come out with us?" I was like, "I don't." I was like, I have a fake ID, but like I don't really go to the bars. It's like, no, it'd be cool. Like I can get you in the KK and everything. So I was like, okay, like, and I ended up like hanging out with them that whole week, and it was it was a blast. And like now, I remember we drank like the orange Ciroc like every night, and so now like that is my like nostalgia drink is like an orange Ciroc.
I would see at the end of the night, like you know what? We could have a drink before we leave.
Yeah.
I would have the Ron juice. You ever hear about that from Stefan?
I've heard about the Ron juice. I never had
So
it.
it was basically from Ronnie from Jersey Shore, but Stefan
Okay.
called it the Ron juice, introduced me to it. It would be like pineapple juice, grenadine, and then like Malibu rum. It
Okay.
was freaking delicious. Like that's my nostalgic thing. I don't drink really anymore, but that was really good stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had like an alcoholic shifty. I would always just grab a couple Red Bulls and.
Yeah, a lot of guys did that. No, I remember that. Did you guys have to like you remember taking out like the oil thing in the huge canister and sneaking through that door? Like that was like this door you'd have to like bend over like a hermit.
Yeah. The worst is when you had to take the trash out during like game days and it's literally just a mountain of trash. And you're like, what do I do with this? Like
just like dump it on the ground and yeah.
Yeah, like we'd always get yelled at by the or Jordan would yell at us because the garbage people would yell at him. And he's like, "Yeah, do a better job." And we're like, "Hey, man, like you need to get more garbage cans."
That's so funny. Did people ever treat you like a celebrity when you were there because of your lifting?
I had like a few, like kind of towards the tail end. I would get like recognized a few times. They'd ask for a picture. That was not a crazy amount. I like some people that like they like came to the KK just to like talk to me every once in a while, which sucked because then you're like, hey, like I'm working right now, like, and this kid's like just like asking, like bombarding me with questions about lifting. I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Dude, that's what's funny. Like even like when I was there, I had a like pretty good following, and like nobody cared at all. You're like, no one freaking cares that I lift a lot. Like it's hilarious. It's like no one's impressed.
Did you ever have like Eric Bugenhagen come when you were there?
Dude, no, Eric, like I met him through Dan, and like I go to Madtown and he's like, yeah, there's this guy Eric. He's like pretty strong, man. You should take a look at what he can do. And this guy starts doing like behind the back deadlifts, and I'm like, what the hell is this crap? And so he goes up to like 725, and I'm like, I've never met this guy. I'm like, what is he doing? He's doing 725 behind the back deadlift. Like, what is this? Weird guy.
Yeah, I never watched him lift or anything like that. The same thing like Dan like told me about. I'm like, oh, it's like this guy does like crazy behind the back deadlift. So like I knew of him, and I knew like, and he knew of me. I remember like one time he came in. Like that's like my one experience with the Eric Bugenhagen is like, just like I had a bad experience with him because he was drunk, and like I was also just like on one of those nights where you're just like I don't want to talk to anyone. Like I'm pissed. Like I just want to like check your ID and like so tell you go in. And he like kept talking to me, and he also like wouldn't leave at the end of the night. And we're like, God damn it, man. So like my one experience with like Eric Bugenhagen is like bad. And I'm just like, God. So I'm like, he's probably a super nice guy. Like I've lifted with Juji Mufu, who's also friends with him, and he's like, I love Eric, and I'm just like, I don't know. One bad experience.
So he was just hammered and wouldn't leave and stuff. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? One of those deals?
Yeah, kind of. And I was just like, I don't want to do anything, man. Like, I just
he's
like
a wrestler. He's jacked.
Yeah, that's like the other thing. I'm just like, God damn, like, you can kick my ass. No shit.
Yeah, he was like a wrestler, and he was pretty built. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to, like, you're like, I don't want to mess with this guy. Like, this is probably a bad idea. And he's like, what am I supposed to do?
Dude, I remember one night there was like these two, like, they were like really small guys, like wrestlers. They were on the wrestling team. I think they're like maybe like 130-pound guys. And these like I just remember like I was cool with them. I was cool with all the wrestlers. They were always super nice to me. And then these like two like frat kids were like talking shit to them. And I was just like, hey man, like that kid has cauliflower ear. Do not fuck with him. Like they kept like arguing. Like I'm just like I'm kicking you out of here before like you get like your
get destroyed.
Kids. Yeah.
Gosh, there were so many crazy experiences like that where you're like, guys, could we just be nice? Do we have to do this?
Yeah, I had someone like bite my arm and like almost take like a chunk out of it one time.
I'm not surprised.
Some coked out dude, he like cheap shot me, and then I tackled him and put him in a headlock, and then he bit my arm, and so yeah, I know.
Gosh, all the fun. At least in that place, we didn't have to worry about getting like stabbed or anything too much.
That's true. I bounced at Osaka before. That was pretty ghetto. And yeah, that
So
was
with the
like,
Capitol, you had to worry about getting like stabbed.
yeah,
Both bars.
it was like there was a couple times where I was like a little bit like, oh man, I was getting kind of like in an argument, like heated with someone. I was just like, God damn, this guy probably like looking at the guy. I was probably like, oh man, I don't know if I want to like like I could take him physically, but there's an X factor here that I'm a little nervous about.
Yeah, no, I totally recall stuff like that because it got rough up by the Capitol. So we were kind of on State Street near the end, and we were pretty. It was not too violent, but like
Yeah, it was pretty much all like frat kids.
yeah,
So
you
like
start
that
going
was
up
the
the
worst.
street, like it got real. You know, closer you got to the Capitol, up on State Street, like it get a little rougher, and you could get stabbed. I heard about it sometimes, stuff like that. I also heard like after bar time, people get jumped all the time.
Dude, I remember like one time I was walking bartender home. I think she was still there when you were there. Liz, like the really little blonde girl. I was like walking home, like we were walking in the same direction. I was kind of like walking with her, and I remember we got to like a point where like there was like a group of people on the sidewalk, and she was kind of like, "Hey, we should cross," and I was just like, "Why?" Like, let's just keep walking. And that was like kind of like when it like dawned on me, like just how like privileged I am to be like a pretty jacked guy versus like this 100-pound girl.
I know, dude, because literally, I was like, trimmed out and huge, 250, and I would at the end of the night, I would hear about all these people getting jumped around town, and at the same time, like 3 a.m., 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be no one out. Like it'd be like dead, dude. Everybody was passed out or home, asleep, drunk, whatever. And I'd be walking home alone, and I'm like, I want someone to try me. Like I'm looking. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, because you hear about like four guys jumping somebody and like that trend mentality. I was like, I just want someone to try it. Let's see what you got.
You definitely do get that like mentality of like I could take on the world right now. It's like
I was literally like, I would love to see someone try to jump me here. But obviously that was really bad, hindsight, like not a good thought process. But oh man. Yeah, we could swap stories all day long about that stuff.
Yeah.
Probably wrap it up here in a sec. I don't want to make this too long, but
what was the closest like did you ever get close to like getting like sued or anything like that?
Well, okay.
I had a couple close calls.
Listen to this, buddy. All those street cameras were not there when I was there. All those street cameras on the corner.
Yeah.
They know when they got put in? You know when they got put in?
Yeah.
They got put in like a month after Bryce clocked the dude unconscious in the street.
I think I heard about that.
That got put in like a month after that.
Yeah.
After he like knocked this dude out.
Dude, I remember like I think it was like my third week there or something like that. I was walking this kid out, and he was just belligerent drunk, or I don't know, like ready to pass out. And we got to like the exit door. You know how you have to like push the door handle in to make it open? He could not figure that out, so he just kept like pounding on the door. So finally, like I opened it, or like I pushed it open. I kind of like went like that to him. Just do it like I literally like put the lightest amount of pressure, and I swear to God, this guy like passed out in that moment and just went straight down. He knocked out like I think he knocked out like 8 teeth or something like that. Like he like shattered the fuck out of his mouth, and like I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh shit! Like what the fuck happened?" Like we set him up, and like cops like called the ambulance and everything like that. And David like he called me the next day. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, you might get a call from the cops. Like that kid's like parents are trying to put press charges." We showed them the video, and the cops don't think anything's going to happen, but just be aware of it. And so like that was like my third week, and I was just like, oh fuck it, like I was so like so nervous. I think that was like the closest I've came to getting like in trouble at all.
Yeah, I don't think anything where it was like lawsuits or like I don't know. It's that one guy that the rugby guy broke the beer bottle at my feet, and I like freaked out on him. But I mean, there wasn't anything too crazy, I don't think. Plus, there weren't like all the outside cameras and such, so nothing too bad.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, man, I think we can wrap it up there for now. I don't want to make this drag on too long, and we got a lot of good stuff. And I'll definitely, if I can think of more fun stuff to talk about, I'll have you back. But
for sure, yeah.
It was a blast, bro. I haven't seen you in 100 years, so catching up is kind of nice.
It's been a while. Like you were one of my OG training partners. It's crazy.
I know. I remember when you like came up to me in the surf. I got him on Horeb,
Yeah, I was so nervous.
We got those videos at the first Mad Town, like where you're doing the clean and stuff and all that.
God damn, I fucking hate that video so much. I was so, like looking back, I'm like, God damn. So those like ones are like, oh, that was me. Fuck.
You're like, take the video down, dude. No, it's
I don't get like at this point it's like it's off, like the damage is done, but I was like, fuck.
hey, we were all kind of like douchey back then. I was too. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
I was very, I was like, man, I look back, I'm like, what was I doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like crazy antics and stuff.
I'm like, God damn, I'm kind of glad I didn't have like Instagram and stuff so much when I was there.
Yeah, I didn't either at that point, but all right, buddy, I'm gonna let you go and hope all goes well this year, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah, man. Hope all as well with you. Congrats on becoming a dad too.
Yeah, it's a lot of life changes. My heavy days are like kind of behind me, but it's all good, New opportunities.
For sure, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. Nice talking to you.
See you, buddy.